Hello everyone and welcome to Shifting Gears. This is the 2025 KTM 390 Adventure. We would like to thank Royal Enfield for launching the Himalayan 450 because now we know which motorcycle we should not bring home. Prices for the new KTM 390 Adventure start from rupees 2,91,140 bucks, but that is for the 390 Adventure X. If you are planning to buy this variant is priced at 3,67,699 rupees. For reference, the Himalayan 450 is asking for roughly 2,85,000 all the way up to 2,98,000 ex showroom. And for your reference, the old 390 Adventure SW variant, that one was retailing at 3,64,142. So in comparison to the outgoing variant, this all new KTM 390 Adventure is not asking for a lot more money. Now in this video, I am going to speak about the design, the ergonomics, the overall feel of this new 390 Adventure. But before that, let us speak about a few key numbers. Powering this motorcycle is a 399cc single-cylinder liquid-cooled LC4C engine, which we have already seen in the new Duke 390. This motor produces 46 PS of power, 39 Nm of torque, and it is coupled to a 6-speed gearbox mated to a slip and assist clutch. Now this new 390 Adventure has a wheelbase of 1470mm, ground clearance of 237mm, seat height of 830mm, curb weight of 182 kg, and it rides on a 21-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear wheel. Make note that although you are seeing spoked rims on this motorcycle, these are tubeless spoked wheels. This is a patented design by KTM. This motorcycle comes with a 14.5 litre fuel tank. It has a 320mm front disc, 240mm rear disc, and the power to weight ratio is a crazy 253 PS per ton. Compared to the old motorcycle, the wheelbase has gone up, the ground clearance has gone up. However, the seat height has come down, so it is more accessible. And the most noteworthy change is that the old bike used to ride on a 1917 wheel setup. Here you are getting a 2117 wheel setup. Now this is the new top of the line KTM 390 Adventure motorcycle which you can buy here in the Indian market. At India Bike Week last year, this was termed as the 390 Adventure S. But now that it has arrived in the market, there is no S branding that you can see on this bike. The 390 Adventure R is going to be available overseas. That I don't think so is coming soon to the Indian market. But if need be, it can be homologated, and if there is enough demand, Bajaj Auto and KTM can think of bringing that here in India. Of course, there is that 390 Adventure X base model which is also available. In this video, now let us start talking about the features of this new 390 Adventure. Firstly, you will notice that the design is completely new. It does not look like the old 390 Adventure at all. What is impressive is that even though this is a larger motorcycle overall in dimensions, it feels a lot more slimmer when you are trying to ride it. So because of that, it is more accessible. And also thanks to the lower seat height, even riders who are not so tall, they can finally buy a 390 Adventure, which is very, very capable to just go long distance riding all around India, because this motorcycle is more than sufficient for all of your touring needs. Now, speaking about features, have a look at the front end. You have the rally inspired tower-like design at the front end. And now over here, you have this LED DRL section. Looks quite nice, and you can notice that it is split apart in multiple pieces. This is a plastic piece. As an accessory, you will also get a headlamp cover which you can buy from the KTM showrooms. So if you are too paranoid that you can damage this headlamp of your motorcycle, you can buy that cover should you feel like. Have a look at this. You are now getting projector LED headlamps, and these are going to be very useful, I hope so, in that long night ride. So let's hope that these are sufficient in terms of road illumination. But overall, in terms of the looks department, it does look nice, it does look badass. Overall, it has hard plastic housing all around. So this is how it looks like. Then you will notice you have LED turn indicators with this motorcycle, and these are also of a different design compared to the old bike. And what is very good is that these indicators, you will notice that you can, fix them. If this is broken, you can fix a new one very easily. On the old motorcycle, you had to open up the dome to change an indicator. That was almost a 2-hour job, or maybe more if the technician is not experienced, for an indicator change. This time, this is more thoughtful, and this is, I hope so, going to reduce the turnaround time if you want to fix a particular item. Then, typical of adventure bikes, you have this front beak, a very high mounted front mudguard, and this is solidly built. It is not flimsy. So check this out, I'm punching it hard, but it doesn't look and feel like it is going to break apart too soon. If you're going to get some air time, it doesn't look and feel like it is going to just bend or just be moving around and shaking around a bit too much. So very well put together, and you will notice you have that metal frame below which is going to hold on to this piece, to this front fender. As an accessory, again specific to the Indian market, you will also get a full front fender below this beak. So right now it is half. This is specific to India because in monsoon season you need that mud splash. But if you want a full cover over the wheel, conventional style, you can still buy it as an accessory. So that also I think is very thoughtful of KTM India to offer that to the Indian customer who might want to buy one bike for all their needs. If you are going to commute on this bike, on such a product, to office, you don't want your trousers to get dirty, do you? Then have a look at the wheel. Now this is a 21-inch front wheel. You see these spokes, but this is a tubeless spoke wheel. Tubeless tires. These are Apollo tires with this motorcycle, and you will notice that this is going to offer you that dual sport kind of a tread pattern. So on and off the road, this should offer you good grip. Today, throughout my review ride experience, let me tell you that these tires were grippy enough when I was accelerating hard. When I was riding through this trail, I had decent confidence, and also when I was trying to get some air time, every time I landed, these tires, they did not feel like they couldn't stick onto the road and help me control the motorcycle. So although it sounds like you have lost a bit because you do not get Metzeler tires, these have done a fine job today in my review ride experience. Then you will notice you have that disc brake at the front. No pedal disc brake, but a large disc brake. You get ABS with this motorcycle for good confidence inspiring stopping power. And of course, when you're going to buy this KTM 390 Adventure, you're going to get off-road ABS as well. So you can switch off ABS too whenever you want. So you get that kind of a control. Now, do you want to switch off ABS at the rear wheel, or if you want more control over the ABS in terms of the intervention, you have multiple modes which you can select from, but we will speak more about that in the ride review video. But in terms of the looks department, this is how it looks. And just have a look at this, how the suspension travel is also covered up by this fiber piece of the front fender. So it is not exposed, so the dust and dirt might not easily damage your oil seals. So this is going to be very, very useful in your ownership cycle. This should help your parts last for a longer time, so you don't have to replace them very frequently. On the suspension, on the front fork, you will notice this is the WP Apex open cartridge front suspension, and this is of the adjustable type. Let me show you. So over here on the forks, you will notice that you get adjustment over here. So this is for rebound, and on this side you have it for compression. Now it is not very easy for you to do these changes. So maybe when you are going to ride the motorcycle on the go, this is a bit tricky to do this because you will be wearing gloves if at all. So you will have to stop and then make these changes. Also, it is not very easily visible from the top point of view. So someone is not going to get attracted towards it and then want to play around with this and change the settings. So it is nicely hidden thanks to this handlebar. It is not completely exposed to the naked eye, to the notorious eye, and that is very, very important overall. Otherwise, we have seen this kind of a suspension setup, this tuning ability in the old KTM 390 Adventure SW as well. So it continues over here too, and this is by far my favorite suspension setup in this segment. A lot of people rave about the Royal Enfield Himalayan offering you fantastic suspension and ride quality. This does an even better job because you have more customizable ability for the bike to respond according to your needs, according to your riding style. Now have a look at the panels. Now these panels, they are different compared to the old 390 Adventure, and these are a completely different kind of a material. So check this out. The sticker, the decal is not pasted onto the panel. This is within the panel. It is embedded in the panel. You can read on the screen what this material is. So you can Google if at all you are interested, if at all you are geeky. But these panels, KTM says that if at all you go off-roading, if you drop the bike, if these get scratched, it will not expose the black color or the natural color of the material. This is the main color, and if at all it gets scratched, it will still show the color which you see on top too. So this is going to last longer. The bike is going to look fresher, newer for longer, and it could be easier to maintain. Also, the material used for these panels, it is not going to break apart very soon. It is designed and developed in such a way that even if you encounter a fall, if you drop the bike, these will not crack open too soon. But have a look at the decals. The KTM branding over here, ready to race branding over here, the 390 branding over here. You see the X branding over here if you buy the 390 Adventure X. And then have a look at this. This is the white part of the panel. You have Adventure written over here below the pillion seat section, and then the white color extends till the tail end. Now, although on this motorcycle you see a lot of white to be the dominant color, a white rear end, you have only orange over here on the tank section on these shrouds, and you have a white beak. This actually is the orange color option of this new KTM 390 Adventure. If you buy the white option, then you have a different color, and I'm not a fan of this color scheme which is offered with this new 390 Adventure. I would have preferred more black, a more darker theme, a more darker dominant color. This tritone kind of a design language, color scheme is not up to my taste. Then have a look at this crash guard. Very, very thoughtful. You have this extension too, and then this crash guard is going to protect your panels and your engine and also your chassis. So you do not need to buy ugly, ungainly and horrible looking aftermarket accessories as your crash guards. These are designed and developed, well engineered by the brand. The brand spends millions of dollars in designing and developing a motorcycle. So trust the brand. Don't go and buy something that looks like a grill that you fix on your motorcycle, because that is not ideal. That is not engineered for your product from the get-go. So this, I think, should be sufficient. And over here, should you wish, you can also fix some aux lights. Now speaking about aux lights, if you look at the KTM 390 Adventure R, which is available overseas, you can mount aux lights over here. Now with this bike, you are not getting that as stock fitment, but I don't know how that is done on that particular model, but maybe there is some provision to mount those aux lights over here. But we in India do not get it. The 390 Adventure R is not available in India. So aux lights, this could be an easy fix, and maybe if you want to replace them over here, ideal placement, easy placement. Now let's speak about the seat. Have a look at this. Single piece, long seat. You have a strap too over here to grab onto, but visibly the pillion seat looks smaller than the old motorcycle. Let me tell you, all of this that I am telling you, it comes from experience. I owned the first gen, first lot KTM 390 Adventure when it was launched in India. I used it for over 4 years, so I know what I'm talking, and I'm giving you my honest opinion. So this seat, in terms of the size, in terms of the surface area that you get to rest your bottom, it is a bit smaller, at least in my opinion. You get these grab rails which are very chunky, so this is going to be very useful for the pillion to grab onto, because the seat is so small that he or she would want more support over here. And this section also is extending quite a bit, so I think you can add a top rack over here, base plate over here, and then you have these cuts over here on this grab rail too, so maybe you can move your bungee cords through this to tie your luggage, to tie your tail bags. Then looking at the seat over here in front, have a look at this. It is slim in the center area. Now this motorcycle, this chassis was designed keeping in mind the adventure variant as well. Now this chassis is shared, this main frame is shared with the new 390 Duke as well, but an adventure variant will eventually be launched. That was a very important thought, an important consideration, and because of that design development, this bike is not too broad over here between your legs, and thanks to that, even if you are a shorter rider, you can get your feet easily on the ground, also because the seat height has gone down. Now this seat overall, decent amount of cushioning and padding, but it is not a split seat setup like the old motorcycle. So a single piece unit, you will have to get it out completely if at all you want to access the area underneath the seat. Now let me try to do that for you. So the keyhole is over here, and when I open the seat, check this out. This is where your toolkit and everything will be mounted, and it is a rather flat looking section. I hope this is easy to service and it is better than the old 390 Adventure. If I want to put it in place again, let me just try to do that very easily. Okay, not too much of a challenge, and we are good to go. Now the radiator of this motorcycle, of this 390 Adventure, of course it is continuing with that curved style. It is a curved radiator, larger area, and it has a dual fan setup. Now while some might think that it is just a copy paste job from the old motorcycle, this has been reprofiled, redesigned in terms of redirecting the air away from you so that the rider feels more comfortable. So he or she, whoever is riding this bike, he or she will feel lesser heat on their feet. But is that true? We will speak about that in our ride review video. Now this is the key of the new KTM 390 Adventure. Doesn't really feel too good to touch, and even this white, it doesn't really look that good, and just to touch it feels a bit cheap. Now the keyhole is over here ahead of the fuel filler cap, and standard affair, easy to access the key, not too much of a difficulty. This fuel tank, not a plastic piece, a metal tank, so this is going to hopefully last a long time. Also, if you had owned the old 390 Adventure, if you knew anything a bit more about the old 390 Adventure, that fuel tank was very expensive. So I think that was considered when this bike was designed and developed. So 14.5 liter fuel tank, and when you want to fill fuel, this fuel filler cap, it doesn't come out completely, so you don't have to hold it. So it's not going to keep you busy when refueling. Now let's speak about the switch cubes, because that is very important. So on the right hand side, what you're going to notice is an integrated kill switch along with a starter button. So right now the engine is killed. Right now it is getting ready to fire up, and this is your starter button. Check this out. One touch and the motorcycle fires up. Let us try to do that one more time. Killing the engine, and now one touch, it fires up. I do not have to press the button till the engine comes to life, so that is good, that is very useful. Then have a look at the switch cubes on the left hand side. Now here you will see a lot. First, this is your hazard lamp switch. These are your toggle controls for your speedometer cluster and all the information that you see over there. This is your turn indicator switch. This is your horn. This is a custom button, a quick access custom button which is offered to you. Then you have your cruise control button over here, which is also very easy to access even with gloved hands. And then to use the cruise controls, you have a plus button over here which you can access with your thumb, and to reduce, the button is over here which you can use with your index finger. So plus to increase the speed, minus to reduce the speed, and I tried it today and it worked flawlessly. It did not fail to engage cruise control, and as soon as you switch gears or you tap the brakes, the cruise control disengages, typical of how we use it in a four-wheeler, and it worked every single time that I tried it. So all of these buttons, decent quality, very well sized, very well spaced, and very easy to operate. Nothing is extraordinary, nothing is confusing. Of course, if this is going to be your first premium motorcycle, it can take some time for you to get used to these switch cubes, but in a week or so, you will be doing just fine. Now, let's have a look at that speedometer cluster of this motorcycle. So, a bonded glass, and it looks brilliant. This you have seen on the new 390 Duke as well. So, have a look at this. Turning it off right now, black, pitch black. When you fire up, ready to race. This is the fire up screen. Right now it is showing you that the side stand is active, and if I try to access menus, check this out right now. You can switch between the ABS mode, your traction control, your quick shifter, and your display modes. And what is impressive is that these buttons have a very nice clicky feel to it. And just have a look at the speedometer again. Check this out. Trip 1, trip 2, range, coolant temperature, battery information, odometer readout, clock and date, service info, warnings, and whatnot. All of this very good contrast, very easy to read, all the information very easy to consume. And check this out, if I press this custom button right now, I have actually set it to ride mode. So I can very easily switch between off-road, rain, or street modes, and I can configure it to my style. So this is quite nice. Check this out one more time. One touch of this C custom button and I get into the mode that I want to use. So very easy. And all of these buttons, like I said, you can use them very effortlessly even while wearing gloves. Now of course you should notice that this display is a color display unit. So you have ride modes, then you have option to switch the traction control on or off. You can switch the quick shifter on or off, and then this display mode you can switch it between standard, reduced, and you can notice the layout, can't you? So quite nice, quite impressive for a product in this price range. And this ABS mode also, you can switch between road and off-road. So you can notice that in road mode, ABS is on both ends. In off-road mode, the rear ABS is disengaging. And if you go to ride mode, right now I am in street, and if I want, I can configure street mode further. So check this out, it says configure street. Let me show this to you one more time. Right now I am going to off-road. All right. And after I select off-road, let me change it to off-road. Okay, now if I want to configure off-road, then again I can make the necessary changes. So in off-road mode, again, if I want ABS to be on at both ends, check this out, it is in off-road mode. I am configuring off-road mode, but I can still have ABS active for my preference. So that is quite cool that, you know, KTM is offering you this kind of control and configuration. You can select traction control settings, the quick shifter setting, and even the throttle response. So check this out, throttle response can also be switched between street, rain, and off-road in individual modes. And you can also set the display mode as per a selected ride mode. How cool is that? Which motorcycle offers this to you? Ask Royal Enfield if they can do all of this in that circular meter of theirs. I don't think so they can, and I just don't want to talk about the Royal Enfield Himalayan at all. Now, Going down, check this out, you have more information about your motorcycle and cruise control. So cruise control, you can set it for speed control or cruise control. So speed control is going to be a limiter, so you can set a limit. So even if you are ringing the throttle, it will stay at a limit, it will control the speed. Otherwise, you can activate it, use that button as cruise control. Now that again is fantastic for a product in this price range, and the amount of tech that KTM is offering you with this new 390 Adventure here in the Indian market, there is absolutely no other product which is as value for money as this is. Now there is more to show you, but before that, let us listen to the exhaust note of this motorcycle. So here goes. This is at idle. Now a lot of you were thinking that because there is an underbelly exhaust, this new 390 Adventure will sound like the first generation KTM 390 Duke, but it is not the case. It sounds very different, it is very distinct. Now this is at medium revs. I'll do that again. This was at medium revs, and now let us try the higher revs. This is how the bike will sound if at all you get on the gas a bit harder and you want to ride faster. So it is what it is. Then have a look at the smaller and significant stuff. So you have the toothed pattern, the grooved pattern for your foot pegs. You have a rubber top, and then this rear brake lever, you can adjust this as well. So you have two positions, and you have that grippy kind of a groove over here, so that when you are going off-roading, this is going to give you more confidence. Then have a look at this. This is your coolant reservoir. Lower down, you will notice the O2 sensor is placed over here, and even over here you have another additional heat shield, very thoughtful. And then you will notice that this bike has a very useful, very large engine bash plate, and this is now a metal piece, unlike a very small metal piece on a larger plastic piece which you saw on the old 390 Adventure. So this is more purpose built, and also of course the ground clearance has gone up, so have a look at that as well. Then when you look at the pillion foot peg, even over here you have these rubber tops. But let me tell you, when I was riding this bike today, when I was riding it a bit hard, I did feel some vibration on my feet, even with these rubber tops on the rider pegs. So I'm just being honest, nothing to hide. KTM is not paying us for these reviews. Then have a look at the rear wheel. Now this is a 17-inch rear wheel, and these Apollo Trampler tires, like I said, you have that dual sport, dual purpose kind of a groove tread pattern. So you can confirm with this too that this is a tubeless tire, and this is a 130 80 R17 tire, 65H. You know what it means, don't you? These are Trampler XR tires which are available with this new KTM 390 Adventure. No Metzeler tires, but then at least these tires are easily available and accessible throughout the country. Now have a look at the tail lamp. I did not show that to you. A very small tail lamp unit. This is how it looks like when the lights are on, and this is how it looks like when you use the brakes. Now this I think is very small, but yes, it is bright. I would have wished that it was a bit larger, because if at all you have some bags, and if at all there is something that is hanging a bit, it can cover up your tail lamp completely because it is just so small. So all of these small significant stuff, I don't think anybody is going to tell you in their reviews. So we would appreciate if you would subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel and press that bell icon for the honesty that we showcase through our reviews. Then have a look at the turn indicators, LED type. This is your rear mudguard, and I don't know which part of this you can take off, but we will see that in just a few days, because these bikes are heading to the showrooms for deliveries if you have booked one for yourself. On the left hand side you will notice you have the sari guard, the barbecue grill. Not very ugly, but I don't know why the design team has not synced it with the wheel. Now it looks that it is protruding a bit too much. So this could have been a better job, but anyway, almost everybody is just going to throw this off on the first day of bringing this bike home. You have the chain on the left hand side. The swing arm is different compared to the 390 Duke, of course. Also it is longer. And have a look at this section too. This is a half cover, of course typical of premium motorcycles, because you need to clean this chain also effectively for better performance. And have a look at this particular piece over here. This is going to ensure that your feet as a pillion, they are secure and safe and they don't move inwards towards the tire. Very, very useful. This is a safety feature. And then on the left hand side ahead, you will notice that this gear lever, check this out, it is not going to easily break. You have this springy action, so when you are off-roading, you know, it is not going to get easily damaged. Very thoughtful, very, very useful. And then on the left hand side, you will also notice this channeling. I think this is for the air to be sucked in. Some information for your tire pressure, which is over here, a sticker on the chassis frame. The chassis frame is in all black, not in a contrast orange color. And this is your main stand. And you of course do have that very useful kicker over here to get the side stand in position. Of course, this new 390 Adventure, this 2025 KTM 390 Adventure is offering you an adjustable rear monoshock. Have a look at this. You can very simply soften or harden your ride quality, and again this is offering you multiple clicks for better comfort, and you know, you can set it according to your weight, according to your pillion weight, and according to the luggage that you are going to carry, the amount of weight you are going to carry as luggage with this motorcycle. Now my height is 5 feet 8 inches. I am a bit healthy, you can say I am a bit overweight too. I weigh 85 kg. The seat height of this motorcycle is now 830 millimeters. The old bike had it at 855 millimeters. If you buy the 390 Adventure X, that is at 825 millimeters. Now when I want to swing a leg, have a look at this. I have my feet flat on the ground. Check it out, I have both my feet flat on the ground. Now that is going to give me a lot of confidence when I am going to ride this motorcycle, especially in tricky terrain like this. So this is going to give me sure footing. It is going to give me more confidence. So this new, big, larger, more powerful KTM 390 Adventure is not going to intimidate me. And speaking about the rider's triangle, check this out. Typical adventure motorcycle riding style. You sit upright, you don't crouch forward, you don't lean forward. A nice upright riding position, nice and wide handlebar. So you look up, you ride comfortably and confidently. This windscreen, for my height and my body type, I think it is almost at my chin level. So this is going to probably offer me better wind protection at high speeds when I am cruising out on the highway. You also have some aero curtain over here for better aerodynamics, so that there is lesser wind buffeting. A clear screen. Now this is not available in a darker shade, so it is what it is, but it is very useful because you can see through that screen. And of course you can notice that the number plate is going to be mounted over here. It looks a bit off, but you will have to place it there. It is necessary. Do follow the rules. Again, have a look at these mirrors. Very stylish, very well built and very well put together. And to adjust them, once you do that, they are not flimsy, so they don't move around when you are riding this bike nice and hard and fast. So I think that also is very, very useful in your ownership cycle, because it's annoying to set the mirrors day in and day out. Have a look at these knuckle guards. Now these are also, you know, easy to move around, and these are also made of that same material which is supposed to last longer. But like I said, this is the orange colored variant, but this also is in a shade of white. So white is a dominant color on this orange shade of this new 390 Adventure. I wish this was black. I'm not a fan of whites. Now let's also have a look at the levers. Now this brake lever, check this out, it is adjustable. You have lever adjustment over here, and you can set it as per your reach of your fingers. Of course, if you move to the left hand side too, you will notice that this clutch lever also you have adjustment over here as well. It is a bit different compared to the old bike, but you do get it, and this is, going to offer you that kind of comfort and convenience. The handlebar, it is completely blacked out. There are no markings over here for you to remember if you are moving this handlebar setting, so you will have to keep that in mind. Over here, there is no 12-volt charging socket because you now get a USB charging point which is positioned over here, and this, as you can notice, is a type C USB, not a type A USB, and this rubber cover should protect it from water whenever you wash your motorcycle. Overall, in terms of rider's triangle, this is a comfortable place to be. I have my feet confidently on the ground. Check this out, both my feet are on the ground. If I just want one leg down, it is not a struggle. Now this section, it is much slimmer than the old bike. So this section, this is what is resulting in such good comfort. And when I am moving this bike, check this out, it is not a challenge at all. And because you get your feet easily on the ground, you can maneuver the bike so effortlessly. Now this motorcycle that I have with me right now, this is with almost full tank of fuel, a little less than full tank of fuel, and I told you the weight, but even with that weight, I am not struggling to move this bike even while I am seated. So that should tell you how easy this bike is to move around should you wish to buy it. Have a look at this rider's triangle again. Good enough, isn't it? And a typical toe only gear shifter which is offered to you, not a heel and toe gear shifter. I think KTM has hit the ball out of the park with this new 390 Adventure. The Royal Enfield Himalayan 450, of course a lot of people harp about it, but I think they are buying into the image of a Royal Enfield product rather than the just inherent ability of that bike to feel more modern. It still feels heavy, it still feels crude, and the NVH on that bike is really poor. Now I'm not saying that this KTM 390 Adventure is very smooth. You do feel some vibrations over here as well, but it is a single cylinder motorcycle. Both these bikes are singles, but this feels much more aggressive, this feels much more sporty, this feels much more fast, much more agile, and it feels much more modern and much better finished overall. Now I did show you that there is some channeling for the airbox, and you will notice that it is written over here, airbox access, and for servicing all of this is going to be much more convenient compared to the old bike. Again, have a look at that engine bash plate too. This is going to ensure that the key components are protected, and overall the engine is in a dark shade. There is not any dual tone color finish over there or any machine finishing over there. It is just that this crash guard, these welds, they could have been a bit better finished, but it is what it is. I might be nitpicking, some people might not really care about it. Now just have a look at how I look on this motorcycle from the front end. 5 feet 8 inches in height. This is the new top of the line KTM 390 Adventure, and this is how it looks. This is the orange colored variant. Now since it has gotten a little darker, let me show you the lights of this motorcycle when the engine is running. So here goes. Have a look at this projector headlamp. High beam, low beam is over here with this projector unit. LED DRLs, LED turn indicators, and then when you move to the rear end, this is how the tail lamp is going to look like when it gets darker. And just have a look at the bike from the rear end. It looks very slim, doesn't it? It doesn't look like a big bike, and the tail height for the pillion is also not too high. So this is going to be very easy to access for your pillion as well. If you want me to demonstrate that height for the pillion seat, just have a look at this. It is not too tricky and it is not too high. So even your shorter pillion rider, he or she can get on or off the bike with much ease compared to the old bike, I guess. Also just have a look at this. It is not too high up compared to the rider seat. So that again is going to give you more confidence if you are going to ride with a pillion on a daily basis. Is this seat going to keep you comfortable? Now that is personal preference, and you let us know your thoughts in the comments below. So I think that is all that you need to know about the new KTM 390 Adventure, especially in terms of aesthetics and the design, the feel and the features that are available. What is your opinion about this motorcycle? You let me know in the comments below. We have a separate video where we speak about the riding experience of this all new 390 Adventure. So please do subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel so that you can make an informed buying decision. I have been a very happy owner of the Gen 1 first lot 390 Adventure in India. Yes, it did have some quick shifter issues in my initial days of ownership. But with this bike, each and everything that I tried, the cruise control, which is a new feature, the quick shifter, which was a problem with the old bike, no problem over here with this motorcycle. This bike has not even done 500 kilometers. It is not even running well, but we are gunning it and it is working flawlessly. So if you want to bring home an adventure motorcycle under 5 lakh rupees and you want to go long distance touring, you want all the latest bells and whistles and all the latest electronic rider aids for convenience and safety, there is no other product which is as good a value as this 390 Adventure. And along with my personal Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, which is quite a bit notorious with the check lights that it shows me, I think this would look rather good as a companion in my garage. So that is how good the bike is. I'm considering to buy it. Let me know your opinion in the comments. See you soon. Subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel. Always ride safe. Try to wear proper riding gear if you're going out for a long ride. Stay safe and stay smart.